Before we dive into this week's episode, I want to tell you about the sponsor. It is my signature group program, the Self-Leadership Success Sanctuary. And this is the program for entrepreneurs who are just feeling stuck. They are maybe having a hard time finding the confidence to get started. They might have some clients who kind of push boundaries and get them in that people-pleasing mindset that they want to let go of. This program is designed to help get the reins back in your hands because you deserve to dictate where your business is going. So in this 3-month group program, we'll have bi-weekly, every other week meetings with your personal cheerleaders, other entrepreneurs who are right there with you. We'll go over things like limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, and we'll eventually graduate with learning how to celebrate ourselves. So I'm offering a special bonus to listeners. Be sure to book an enrollment call by February 28th and save $400 off of the program. The last thing I want to say is that no one is going to achieve your dreams for you. So I've created this crew of positive, optimistic cheerleaders to be right by your side every step of the way. This is a safe place to try on your backbone, examine your self-sabotage, get clear with your intuition, and massively up-level your confidence, your business, and your bank account. I've been in that place of feeling out of alignment with comparison and not setting boundaries, and it's not fun. So consider what it's costing you to stay in that place of letting other people dictate what's best for your business. I will drop the link in the show notes for the episode, PoppyLead.com/apply. Be sure to head over there, put in your application, and I will see you inside the sanctuary. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Confidently in Charge. Today, I am so excited to be hanging out with one of my dear friends who it feels like I've known for so much longer than I truly have. We've only known each other for less than a year. It's wacky. It's absurd. We spend so much time together. But today, I'm so excited to have the marvelous Claire Yanta O'Mahony here with us on the show. Claire is my trainer, and she's a certified trainer and nutritionist. She has a master's in psychology, which I think is really cool because then our conversations aren't just like how to, build my body, but how to affect my behavior as I'm building my body and how to connect so much more. So it's really, really powerful. She is also a mom to be, and this is the baby's first podcast appearance. So that's pretty exciting. And her company, Fleur Fitness, is one of my most favorite things. If you follow me on Instagram, check out my stories. Frequently, you'll see me working out with this club, working out with Claire. So I spend a ton of time with her and just, have watched her business blossom, have seen the changes in her own life and wanted to get her on the show to have some conversation around, her entrepreneurial journey, running a business for herself, how that is. And then also, bringing in a little bit of this body image, self-love kind of aspect, because I think as entrepreneurs, as individuals who are trying to lead ourselves, sometimes that can be challenging when we don't love the physical form we have. Claire has been, transformational in my own journey of seeing my powerful beef castle, as I call it, and appreciating, all of the power of my thighs and everything like that. So we'll get into that conversation a bit. So firstly, Claire, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about your business and all of that.
Thank you so much for having me. Oh my gosh, I just can't help but smile and just feel so lucky to have connected with you when we did. And I agree, it feels like we've been spending each other's lives.
Girl, we go back for real. You've been there for everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just have connected so much. And you've been such a special person in this journey and to share so much time together. And I have learned so much from you. And I really feel honored to be here with you today. And I mean, aside this morning, I've got to work out this morning
Yeah,
together.
for real. That
And
was how I
we,
started my powerful day.
it's so great.
But I'd love to
And
talk about, your journey to entrepreneurship. Like I know that you've been athletic for your whole life with dance and different things like that. Did you always
Mhm.
know that you wanted to have a business like you do? Like, was that always your aspiration? Did you expect to be in this place?
A great question. I did not expect to be in this place. I was never clear on what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. But what's funny enough is that I have a clear memory of driving, and my parents, or I was not driving, actually, they were driving in the neighborhood. I remember like there's a pond in our neighborhood, and I just have this clear vision. Them both being in the car, and for whatever reason, I don't know if I was in elementary school or middle school, and they said, Claire, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I'm not sure, but I want to have a boss that really likes me. I just remember saying
Aw.
that, and they were kind of like, well, I hope that gets to happen for you, Claire. And
Yeah, I
so
hope your boss likes you.
yeah, and so though the role and the industry was not clear, I wanted to have a good relationship with whoever it was that was leading me. And then fast forward so many years, now that person is me, who is
It's
leading
you.
me.
Does
And
your boss like you?
I think my boss, yeah, I think my boss likes me. And it's funny, we're talking about self-love today, and the timing of this episode, in that I think there's been a journey. And I can say, yeah, I think that I like my boss and my boss likes me. I mean, we have our
Mhm,
moments where we're,
mhm, mhm,
maybe a little bit at odds or trying to figure things out. But I think for the most part, I fulfilled that goal that I had of
mhm,
wanting to be in a good relationship with whoever it was that was kind of like guiding my professional
mhm,
life, because that professional
mhm,
life bleeds into the personal life and vice versa.
mhm. For
So,
sure.
yeah, but I didn't
Wow.
know entrepreneurial endeavors weren't on my mind until probably later on in my 20s, I think. I'm currently
Mhm.
35. So,
So it's
yeah.
you discovered that, and then you were like, okay, so this is, this business. And so you've been at it, for 6 years now. How has it been? Like, what have you, learned? How have you grown as, being your own boss, like you said? I think a lot of people are like, wait a second, I'm my own boss. I don't always love everything. So like, could you tell us a little bit about getting to this point in business and kind of being cool with yourself as the leader of your business?
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I think, yeah, that's a word to really overly generalize the
Hmm.
journey, but it's had its ups and downs, very much a roller coaster. I've had moments where I've thought, gosh, maybe this isn't the right thing to stay in to. I've had thoughts where I'm like, oh man, this is absolutely on track. Things are on fire. I've had moments of doubt, which I think resonates with a lot of entrepreneurs. And there's also the fear before you even begin, is this a worthwhile endeavor, project? Will it be a side hustle? What will it be? Um, but I think for me, very much, I have had a lot of moments where I've been unclear about which pathway, where I've been a little
Hmm.
confused. I remember being able to attend some really cool conferences as a result of, my husband was military for 8 years. And so this was when there was a time where there was more focus on the military entrepreneurs and military spouses. So the timing was kind of divine. So I got to go to some amazing Inc. conferences, Inc. magazine conferences. And I remember we would get matched with mentors. And I probably went to about 3 or 4 of these over the years. And when I would be matched with a mentor, they would kind of ask, okay, what is your next step? And they
Hmm.
always kind of generally assumed that I would want a brick and mortar location
Hmm.
as a, place to train clients, nutrition coaching, all of that. And or I wanted to grow my business so that I had a larger team, would hire other trainers and nutritionists. And I kind of went along with it, okay, because I thought, okay, maybe that is the goal, is to like grow
Hmm.
the empire, like get the franchises and things like that. But there's something that never really settled and felt right. And So I had kind of thought like maybe that was what I wanted to do. And then there was a time of we have moved a lot because of either graduate school or jobs or military life. So we've settled. I lived in every time zone, sometimes multiple times now.
It
But
has
I've been,
taught me from every time zone within the span of a week. I'm like, where's Claire now?
actually,
Quarantine's
I
been
think you're
fun.
absolutely right. Yeah, I think I've been in every single time zone or
Like
coast,
within a
same
week, you're
one.
like East Coast, Mountain Time, West Coast, like
Yeah,
everywhere.
central. And now
Yep.
we're only a few minutes away from each other, which is really special.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I had gotten to a place when we were living in San Francisco and loving it. And yep, so many opportunities came to me to teach at this gym. And then this studio asked me to work there. And then it was like, oh, wow, the next step would be to be able to be involved in this place. And so I really started to set my sights on making a name for myself in a location and putting Fleur de Lis Fitness, my clients, my goals, my dreams, like kind of what that would be on the back burner. And what that resulted in was just a lot of hustling around the city, so much commute time, so much money spent on shared rides,
Oh,
sprinting to catch the bus, sprinting to catch the metro. I mean, just insanity. And I thought,
yeah.
Claire, you have to hustle. This is hustle life. This is entrepreneurial life. So I was just equating success with hustling, which is
Mm.
something I've learned. Those two do not have to go together. For some
Hmm.
people, maybe they're really inspired by that hustle. So I think that was a really big um, realization. Was I was really kind of forced to look at how that was affecting my personal life, my health, my rest, and then realizing, okay, I'm really trying to make a name for myself here in this city. And oh well, kind of put Fleur de Lis Fitness on the back burner. Maybe that's just kind of what's happening. And then the real wake up call was the pandemic that we are all
Mm.
in the midst of right now.
Hmm.
And I started to, well, obviously, very abruptly, no longer was I, out the door when it was still dark, waiting in the freezing in San Francisco morning to catch the bus, and then having my day on my back and, multiple sets of clothes and shower stuff to be able to see
For
XYZ
sure.
client and classes
Yeah.
all over. And it was a very welcome change. And I started to realize, okay, there's a lot that I can be doing from home, from the convenience of home. And my focus was really able to shift back to the business and what I wanted, and to
Hmm.
have that control, have that autonomy, and own my success. So what I've
Hmm.
come to realize through all of this about 6-year journey is that, at least right now, and nothing is set in stone. That's the other thing I had to realize, was that, Claire, whatever you say you want to do, you can change your brand name, you can change the business plan. You don't have to be married to this if it doesn't work. So I
Mm.
think giving myself that freedom to realize, like, I can pivot, I can kind of shift.
Hmm.
So upon doing all that, I realized, at least now, my goal is to not have a brick and mortar location. I
Hmm.
don't have the desires for that now or in the future, but hey, never say
Hmm.
never. That may end up being something that is an attractive option down the road. The other
Yeah.
thing I've realized is that as of right now, I want to be able to just have me be the face of the brand, and me being the one doing the fitness coaching, the nutrition coaching, the mindset coaching. And if I need to
Hmm.
duplicate myself, which I'm doing, I have some passive projects I'm working on.
Hmm.
But as of right now, I don't want to be hiring a team. I am very
Right.
open to the idea of delegating certain tasks like tech
Hmm.
stuff and financial
Hmm.
things like that. But in terms of hiring other trainers, that isn't really aligning right now. So I think I've had a
Yeah.
lot of learning, and that's kind of where I
Hmm.
sit. But I've been grateful for being the person who was hustling all day to realize, like, that's really not what I want life to be like. So
Yeah. It's so powerful
yeah.
to realize that for yourself. And something that I love that I want to pull out of what you said, and then, that it kind of serves as a beautiful segue into talking about kind of some of the training stuff, is like all of these people had these ideas for what your business should look like. And all of these people had like the perfect solution for you. And I think like, you really had this realization of like, actually, no, I really vibe. I know one time I said this and you loved it, like Wi-Fi in a dream. Like, I need
Yes.
Wi-Fi in a dream. That's like my favorite
Love
Instagram hashtag. But it's like, I don't need the brick and mortar. I don't have these aspirations. And I think, like, follow me here while my brain does this. I promise these two things will connect.
I always trust you.
I used to believe that to go running meant I had to go on like a 5 mile run. I had no idea of the fact that like I could like run for 10 seconds and then walk for 20 and run for 10 and walk for 20 and like do that over and over again. I had this like belief that like there's one way to go running. And like I feel like with some of the work that you do with women and like with the clients that you work with, it's sort of this realization of like you don't have to fit into this like cookie cutter that life says you do. Like you can kind of have some autonomy and be like, no, I want to like bust out 25 push-ups every day and have awesome shoulders, and like you can tell me that I need to be like small and dainty, but like no, I want this for myself. And so I would love to talk about some of that empowerment that you kind of weave into the physical training and the nutrition conversations you have with people. um tell us about that confidence. Like, why is that something you enjoy working with clients on? Really, I guess that's kind of my question. Like, what lights you up about that process?
Yeah, I feel like women start to come alive and live their authentic true selves when they are feeling confident, connected, strong, when they feel proud of the skin that they're in,
Hmm.
and and embracing their body and the differences and make it what it is. Like you said earlier on this conversation, talking about like embracing your strong thighs. Like,
Hmm.
people could take that very same thing and like start to be critical of a
Hmm.
part of their body, and
Hmm.
go down this deep rabbit hole of how they don't like it. But then you can turn that around and be like, well, look at what these strong thighs enable me to
I'm too
do.
powerful for my pants.
I
Like,
know, like exactly that. Not
uh,
like, oh, I don't fit into XYZ. It's like, oh, that's because you're building some muscles. Like that's awesome.
yeah.
That's like that's it could be a really good thing. So I've seen examples in women, and this happens to men too. But I think, as a woman, I can identify with what that what the experience is like to be at least this woman in this life
Hmm.
and in this situation,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the feelings of wanting to like hide behind clothing or kind of not put yourself out there, and to quiet yourself or your dreams or your thoughts or your opinions or your actions, to want to blend in, um, which just makes you feel like you're not really living the life you want to be, or the life you want to have and the person you want to be. I have heard this, some derivation of this quote or saying about being, this is not a dress rehearsal life. We have one life.
Hmm.
I can remember times where I felt, for whatever reason, like, oh, I really feel like I would love to stand up and do this thing or say this thing or wear this thing, or be this kind of Claire, but oh, I maybe don't really need to, or I'll just kind of like hang back, or just feeling like I'll have another chance in the future. But then that was kind of like not really honoring who I was, who I wanted to be.
Hmm.
And I think that when women are not feeling fully connected, or at least in the process of trying to connect, because it's a process, there's never like this end goal of like, perfect, I've done it, we're done.
Hmm.
Like the
Hmm.
self-work continues. Um,
Hmm.
but how that just ends up feeling like you're living like a bit of like a dress rehearsal. Like there's going to be
Hmm.
another opportunity, like another life where you can actually kind of be the you want to be.
Hmm.
And that just seems like a tragedy. I don't want to like
Hmm.
wallow in the negative stuff too much, but
Hmm.
it just seems like it's just not fair. I mean,
Yeah.
you would, if someone were telling you this, it would be like, oh my gosh, that's breaking my heart. Like the way you're
Hmm.
talking to yourself, the way you're hiding from the things, you're
Hmm.
passing the opportunities, you're turning down whatever these things just because you feel like you don't want to draw the attention, or be
Hmm.
honest, to who you really are. So
Yeah.
because I've
Mm,
experienced bits of that for various reasons. I want
mhm,
women to feel like, no, heck yeah, you are worthy of that
mhm.
opinion, of that opportunity, of that person, of that outfit, of whatever that is.
Yeah. I love that. And that, that sets up beautifully kind of the next question that I want to ask, because I love what you're saying around like, we're taught to be one way and we can choose to kind of be another way, and like, taking people on that journey. Self-love is something that's talked a lot about like, love yourself, love the skin you're in, be your own best friend, all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like along with the fact that like everyone has a self-love journey, a lot of people, particularly women, have like a body image journey as well. And so my question here is kind of like, how do I love myself? How do I like evoke this self-love if I don't have the strongest body image? If I don't love my body, if I don't love the physical skin I'm in, how do I love myself? Is that possible? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, really good question. I think it can be viewed as complex or viewed as simple.
Mhm.
I think it can start with looking maybe at, we use the example of the strong thighs. Like someone might be
Mhm.
saying like, my thighs, like they touch when I walk, or I don't know, whatever the negative thing may be. And then to turn that phrase on its head and to rephrase it and say, oh, but like, gosh, these thighs took me, across the Inca Trail to see Machu Picchu years ago or
Mhm.
whatever.
They
Like,
did. They totally
yeah,
did.
that's right. That's right. We figured out we were there at
We
different
both,
times
yeah,
in
like
Peru.
around the same like region of years, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's funny how that example, something subconscious just like made me, I guess, go to that example. Yeah.
Love it.
And and so just starting to think like, oh man, well, like, my, like, I know I get my German stock legs like from my mother's side, and it's kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like I get that from like my mom's side. It's part of like the
Mhm.
lineage, and starting to feel grateful to be connected. Like starts, maybe take something that like you don't love, or you're not so it's something that maybe is what you would call, and I hate to even use this phrase, but like a problem area, or just something you're not
Mhm.
so appreciative of, and start to like, if you were having a conversation with someone else and they were the one talking about this body part or this thing, how would you help them like get to this place
Mm.
of being appreciative instead of negative and critical about it?
Mhm.
So I think it can start there, and you start to come up with this list of things, and then maybe it's the kind of thing that you do in the morning and the night, setting intentions for how you want to talk to yourself and your body, saying
Mhm.
three things you're grateful for about your body. And then at the end of the day, three things that were so awesome that your body did for you. And so looking at that. And I think there can also be a little bit of like a little fake it till you make it sometimes, just
Mhm.
kind of like setting the intention of, I want it to be like this. I'm going to like keep saying it and acting until I get to that place. And it's really what you say, the mind, what you write down, journaling about it, that can
Mhm.
really lead you to a beautiful place.
Mhm.
And I think
Mhm.
to follow up with that is, as I touched on earlier, it's never a body image, self-love, taking care of yourself through physical fitness, through nutrition, through eating, through mindset. There's there's never like a set, destination where you can just kind of be like, get to the top of the mountain and be like, I'm here. I did it. The work
Mhm.
is done. I am perfect. Like
Mhm.
we're we're always going to be evolving.
Mhm.
The amazing challenges that life throws us will change. The different chapters of life, your reasons for doing certain things change. It's um, you're training for something when you're in your younger years. Maybe it's a sport, and then it's more for maintenance. And then I'm about to undergo one of the biggest life transformations with a pregnancy, going through that right
Mhm.
now, and how we can talk more about that. And then it's the postpartum, and then it's I'll get older, and then it'll be wanting to make sure my bones are healthy and strong as I go through
Mhm.
menopause. And then later on, wanting to
Mhm.
make sure, as I'm aging, and there's certain aging processes, and it's a gift to get to that point, and trying to also change the way you view it. Like, I'm
Mhm.
someone, so I'll take us just a little sidetrack here. I think I talk about my age a lot, but I think it's
Mhm.
because I don't really mean to, but maybe I kind of do. Like, I'm proud to be 35. I've
Mhm.
made it to this age.
Mhm.
Like when I'm 40, I hope I'll still be feeling like, hey, cool. Like, I'm 40. It's crazy. I remember when I was
Yeah.
20, 15, 10. But like, it's a gift to have made it this
Mhm.
far, and then the things that come along with being in that decade, that new age, um, trying to celebrate those. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's also just accepting that your body is evolving. You're like this beautiful piece of work that's like this one of your greatest your greatest jobs in life is to continue to
Mhm.
like grow and evolve and love and appreciate, just
Mhm.
as you would with
Yeah.
someone else in your life. And it's a living,
Yeah.
breathing thing. You are a living,
Mhm.
breathing thing, and that's going to
Yeah, it's
change.
a care for and nurture. Oh,
Yeah.
so powerful, so powerful. Um, Yeah, I think of my own story and kind of like the transformation. I feel like I resonated a lot with the like kind of fake it till you make it energy. Because I was like, okay, I had this belief for a long time that I'm not a morning person, and like I could never be a morning person. Mornings are hard, and like that was my belief. Um, but I had this aspiration of like, I really want my mornings to be sacred. I want to be the type of person who has a really powerful morning routine. I always wanted to evoke that. And I feel like, now it's natural for me to be like, oh yeah, I wake up at like before 7 twice a week and like get these workouts in. Like it's a very natural thing. But for a couple weeks there, it very much was like, okay, I'm going, because I was like learning to be that person who did
Yes.
that. And like, that's one of the like major things I've gotten out of your space and with our friendship, is just kind of the accountability of having workouts to do with people, and like having space and time carved out to like pay attention to that part of myself. I loved in your whole description of, um, body image and things like that. Like the way that you spoke of the body was very like physical, like, your physical muscles and things like that. And I think sometimes we forget that it's a physical thing, like because we just attach emotions and feelings to it. Like we don't often say like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I am like a living, breathing creature who like
Yeah.
needs like fat on my body to like function properly, and needs carbohydrates in my
Yeah.
body to like function properly. And I think sometimes we make it so complicated. Um, but I gave a little there with my like morning routine and how I've created that for
Hmm.
myself. And I've kind of become a person who has that kind of thing. That is largely because I believe that leadership is really, it's something we do every day. You talked about, the different experiences you've had with your business and the transitions and the pivots and all of that. Um, and so I think, as entrepreneurs, knowing that we have all that happening, sometimes it's really important to have those kind of moments with ourselves, or the like non-negotiable kinds of things. And I very much believe that leadership is learned in real life, and it is the choices that we make every day. So I'd love to ask, as a leader, as a person who's in charge of your business and, in charge of growing a child right now and functioning as a happy, healthy human, what are some of the non-negotiables in your day? Or, how do you feel like you lead yourself?
I'm so glad we're talking about this. It's something that I've talked about with some other clients. Like, what do you want your non-negotiables to be? Like,
Mhm.
your day must include XYZ to make you feel whole, or your week, or
Mhm.
whatever the thing is, like to make Claire feel good. What does Claire need? So
Mhm.
I would say that um, gratitude practice. So I have a gratitude app I've been using, I should look back and see when I started it, probably 5 years ago,
Wow.
maybe even longer. I've gotten much better about it. And
Mhm.
so something that I've realized is that I want to do it earlier in the day. I do it before I get on social media. So for me, it's a non-negotiable. I want to do it when I'm in a place before I've started to compare myself or to, start to get too distracted in the day. I want to determine, who I want to be, what I'm grateful for in the morning. So I think the gratitude practice is a non-negotiable. And I find the days I slip, even though it only takes a few moments, days I don't do it, I feel like those days go a little differently. It's something that's really important. I think also the non-negotiables are some type of movement. And sometimes it's going for a walk, sometimes it's, obviously the membership club classes that I'm leading, another class I'm leading, a workout of my own, a workout with my husband. I've recently, I don't know, baby boy has inspired me to do a little bit of running, which is like something I haven't done in so long. Just he's making me feel good, which I'm very grateful for. So I think it's movement and it's nourishing myself, taking the time to eat good foods. I find cooking or just preparing some food for myself to be just like a self-care ritual that I really enjoy, even if it's like a very quick, like whip up some just fresh vegetables, throw it into something. Um, I think that also another non-negotiable is some quiet time.
Mm.
And this can be when I'm in the shower, this can be maybe when I'm taking a walk, when I'm getting ready for bed or getting ready in the morning. I know that there have been times where I was maybe on a vacation or with people or staying with people, and I realized that there was stimulation from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed.
Mm.
And for a long time, that didn't really seem to bother me. But then as I got older, I started to realize, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so spent and I'm feeling
Mhm.
drained and not filled. I've
Mhm.
started to realize like just some kind of quiet time. I don't necessarily have to be sitting and doing nothing, but just not listening to anything. I sometimes I'm in the mood where like, oh, I want to play the music. I want to sing as loudly as I can. I want to, evoke my inner Beyonce, Stevie Wonder, Aretha, like, and dance along with that. And other times I realize like I just kind of naturally gravitate. If I haven't had the quiet time, it's like I do it. And then it's something I've also realized when if I am with certain people, just kind of not certain people, but if I'm in a place where there's just a lot happening, like a big itinerary, lots of things happening, just kind of it's okay to say, hey, I'm actually going to go hang out for a little bit. I got some things I got to do. I need some quiet time, or I just need to kind of chill for a little bit.
Mhm.
And realizing people are totally okay with that. So that was something I was kind of afraid to stand up for, I think, in the past. I wanted to be like, oh yeah, she's social, she's here. Um,
Mhm.
and I think it was also kind of honoring the fact that I have an introverted side that I need to nurture. So I think that quiet time, maybe it's where I'm
Yeah.
just thinking or there's just nothing. So I would say the gratitude, the movement, the fueling of my body,
Mhm.
and that quiet time. I think
Mm.
those are things that
So
are
powerful. Yeah.
really help me feel whole if my day
Yeah.
incorporates them.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I want to call out too that like those actions are completely in alignment with like who I know you to be and who you seem to be in the world. Like like the fact that you do a gratitude practice like first thing, like I love that and I see that in other ways in your life because you have a very celebratory kind of approach of like, we're thankful for things, we're feeling grateful, we're like celebrating. I love that. So very cool that you start your day that way. Before we entirely wrap up and like let people know how to connect with you and everything, I want to just give you space. Is there anything that is weighing on your heart or anything that you want to share
Mhm.
with the audience? Any final takeaways or thoughts that you just want to impart to people?
Yeah, I guess, and thank you for this opportunity to say this. There are two things that just kind of popped up that I think would be relevant to touch on. The
Hmm.
first of which is to, and we've heard this before, and I'm telling the listeners as much as I'm reminding myself to really keep at the forefront of your mind that comparison is the thief of joy. So it's very
Hmm.
easy when you're in this entrepreneurial journey, or even if you're not in the entrepreneurial journey. As
Hmm.
women, sometimes we are more prone, not always, I'm generalizing, I know, to compare ourselves physically, relationship wise, professionally, personally. I mean, we could just go on and on. So, there's so many ways to get kind of into this negative cycle. So to try to stay away from that and be instead appreciative for what you have, the way your life is. Um, so to try to get away that comparison,
Hmm.
step away from that. You can look at it as inspiration, but
Hmm.
try to keep it as inspiration and not as this really like joy sucker. And
Yeah.
and that So if you want to start the business, if you're concerned about what other people would think, like forget about that. I remember there was one person in my mind before I would do or think so many things or wear certain things, I would think, what would this person say? That was ridiculous. I'm living for me, not for them.
Hmm.
So just remember that
Yes.
you're living for you. You are living for you.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I think the other thing I wanted to bring up is just having a moment to really appreciate the fact that you are here. This is a journey. I know we've used that word multiple times, but it really just fits what we're talking about. And it's just a word
Hmm.
that encompasses so much. We don't know what's to come. And to be grateful, you're here for a reason. However, you
Hmm.
came into this world, regardless of your beliefs, I think that through me, I'll just touch personally for a second. We went through an infertility journey and ultimately went through IVF to conceive. And so I think it's given me just a newfound appreciation for like how life comes to be. Like who we're here, it's amazing. Like we're able to do this, being grateful for the fact that like you and I are connecting over
Hmm.
laptops and Wi-Fi and dreams,
Hmm.
like these are
Hmm.
these are really cool things. So just be appreciative of your body, what it can do for you. And you've got this one life. Do something
Yeah.
good with it. Do the things that you were created to do and to
Yeah.
serve, since everyone is
Hmm.
different.
Yes. I love that so much. Like you said
Yeah.
earlier, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is real life. And I think that actually was one of the main triggers for me deciding to work with you. I had this moment of like, I always assumed I would eventually get healthy. I would eventually have a workout routine. And like, I finally just got tired of myself saying eventually and like, oh, I'll start a thing. I got so sick of it and was just like, girl, start. And like,
Yeah.
I had that realization of like, nobody else is going to get healthy for me. Like, this is my life to live. And I can either dive that way, like, make it happen, or I can, actually get further away. I know you're an Atomic Habits reader and fan
Yes.
as well. Like, if you're not moving toward your goal, you're moving further from it. And
Hmm.
I saw that about myself and was like, holy cow, no, I need accountability now because nobody else is going to
Yeah.
do this for me. This is my life to
Totally.
live and I want to make it what it is. So amazing. This
Yeah.
has been phenomenal. I definitely want to make sure that listeners know how to stay connected with you. So, what kinds of things do you have going on right now? I know you mentioned you're working on like a prenatal series.
Yes.
What's going on right now? How can people connect to you?
Yeah. So lots is cooking in addition to this little baby. So we've got, yeah, lots of things. I have a membership club, which um, Allison is a member of. We have so much fun. Come on
So
in,
much fun.
everyone. Yeah, can get a free week in my club. I also am launching a prenatal video workout series. Also, some kind of small group offerings that will be, one will be for the prenatal ladies, that will be live and small group, intimate, and then also one for the non-pregnant crew, and that will again be live and small group, And then also private coaching, which is really transformational, impactful, 4 months of really me diving and being your advocate over that time. So those are the offerings. And you can go to meetwithclaire.com to set up a time to chat. I would love to chat with you, give you that free week in the club, talk about how I can lead you to your goals, getting clear on what your goals are, what is in your way. Sometimes it's a mindset, like Allison said, like kind of thinking eventually. And then it's like, I gotta stand up. I gotta do me. I need to take some massive action to get that accountability, which is I think one of the biggest things that I offer is the accountability. I'm here. I'm a real person. I care for you. I care for my clients. I care for you, Allison, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and the listeners. So yeah, meetwithclaire.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. I try to hang out there. I think I've been like off for like a day. Like I need to get back
Mm-hmm.
in. So I go on like spurts, but pretty much I'm there. And I'm on
Awesome.
Instagram at Fleurdeli Fitness, FLEURDELISFITNESS. And I'm sure you'll have it
Beautiful.
linked somewhere.
Yes, I will drop all the relevant links below. But yes, I have been working with Claire as a one-on-one client. We started last September and actually
Hmm.
finished our sessions. And then I was like, holy cow, no, 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 I still need you in my life. And we are, continuing to work together. And so, yeah, I cannot speak highly enough about, that space and that accountability. But this has been such an awesome conversation, really getting into, your own journey, how you've gotten here, how you've built the business and sort of your own mindset shifts along the way. And then looking into, loving ourselves, even if we don't love our physical selves, and how we can get started kind of doing that. I loved your really actionable, thoughts about like, okay, what do your problem areas, how do those serve you? How are those, what do you love about them, and kind of
Yeah.
opening yourself to those questions, so powerful. So everyone, please, check out what Claire has going on. I would love to see you. I'm there Tuesday mornings, Thursday mornings. I'll hold you accountable, you hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And I would love to see you all there. So I will drop all of the links below. But Claire, thank you again so much. And everyone, we will catch you next time.
Thank you. It's been a true honor. Thank you so, so much, my dear.